Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Check Me. We're going to talk everything football this weekend. We'll cover a little bit about Philadelphia Eagles. Everything Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk about the Baltimore Ravens victory. Talk about some things that kind of happened in the league. Belichick getting his 300th win. Some surprises. And overall my general thought of week 6, week 7 analysis. I also want to talk about Alabama and the new rankings that came out in the AP poll and how it's not necessarily a good depiction of what may happen in the college football rankings. But the first thing I'm going to cover and talk about are the Eagles. The Eagles, we got a win against Miami Dolphins. Now, this is a beat-up Miami Dolphins team. Jalen Waddle was in and out. There was no Xavier Howard. There was no Jalen Ramsey. I don't think that makes a huge – it does make a big difference, but I still think that we would have executed at a high level and won the game regardless of those guys were not. Big win at home in the Link. Jalen Hurts had a good day. 109 quarterback passing rating. 23 for 31, 279 through the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 sacks, and then he also had 11 rushes. He had the second most rushes. 11 rushes, 21 yards, 1 touchdown. Dre Swift had 15 for 62 on the ground. But overall analysis, I just want to talk about Jalen Hurts. I think that he's maturing as a passer, and this is what we essentially want to see out of Jalen Hurts. You want to see him make the throws he needs to make, throw the ball when he throws away. We talk about shelf life as a quarterback, and shelf life is very, very important. How can he extend himself throughout the career? Run when he needs to run. Avoid taking monumental big hits throughout his career, but putting him in a position where he can be good for a long period of time. And that is making him become more of, not necessarily a reserved passer, but a more tactical passer. I don't like the wave of these new offenses are kind of going around of really downfield passing, waiting for plays to develop. I do like the idea of letting downfield plays open up and later in the game, but I thought we're starting to evolve a little bit in our short passing game. AJ Brown. Once again, I look at how many times they were thrown to. He had 15 targets, 10 receptions. So I do still think we're forcing him a little bit much. And if we kind of look backside, we see Smitty's open just as much on some of those routes. But Smitty was 4 for 49. We got him started early. Dallas Goedert as well, too. He was our early go-to guy, which opened up a lot for some downfield passing and, A.J. Brown to have one-on-one, matchup. For A.J. Brown to do what he's doing, he has to respect the fact that you can't double A.J. Brown because you can't leave Smitty man coverage. And if you leave Smitty man coverage, then, bombs away, which we've seen, in the past. So the evenness that we have, as far as you have to play the Eagles straight up and have a good defensive line, is a big reason why we were effective and efficient on offense. The running game wasn't there, but we talked about this. And it's not. I don't think it's the fact that we couldn't run. I think that the Miami Dolphins are putting a big emphasis on stopping the run, which allowed our passing game to open up. So I thought that our offense was effective and efficient for the most part, other than that one throwaway from Jalen Hurts, and he's got to figure out a way to not turn over the ball. 2 turnovers in this game could have easily put us in a spot where we were losing. It wasn't for our defense, but he's got a hold on. That's the reason why we lost the Super Bowl. I think his biggest mistake in the Super Bowl was him fumbling, and if he doesn't fumble that ball, that's a possession we could have had that was a touchdown. Holding on to the ball, 4 turnovers last week against the Jets. Just being better, being good, being great all the time is a tier that we want Jalen Hurts at, so we can get to this midseason push. This is a heavy midseason push. On the defensive side, we're still struggling a little bit at safety, but I thought that we did very well. And this is the one thing I was looking at coming into the game. I was really focused on our front 4. If we can get a pass rush with our front 4, whoever those 4 guys are, we rotate in, then I think we'll do well. And they couldn't run the ball. Big Jordan Davis stopped that early. Those big hog mollies up front. So the run opens up the pass. And what you saw was the Dolphins were really unable to, they didn't score in the fourth quarter. They had a bomb at the end of the half. When we were playing soft coverage, but their offense really never matriculated to what we've seen the Miami Dolphins offense be. And this is a really true test for the Eagles. People had the Eagles. You look at the power rankings, which I don't care about the power rankings. They didn't have the Eagles as a top team. You know, they had the Eagles. I'm pretty sure they thought the Eagles were going to come in here and get blown away by this passing attack. But people don't realize the Dolphins. They if they can't run the ball, they're ineffective. Whenever they play a team that has a good front four, they're ineffective. Now the Bills just have their number, but they really haven't faced a team with the solid front four when it comes to stopping the run and passing attack. The Chargers weren't it. Patriots weren't it. The Broncos definitely weren't it. The Bills don't have that. The Giants don't have that, and the Panthers don't have that. When you look at their schedule, they faced a losing Chargers team, a losing Patriots team, a losing Broncos team, a Bills team that's up in the air, a losing Giants team, a losing Panthers team. They played us. They played pretty weak teams throughout the whole season, and and now they play the Eagles, a good team, and they struggle when they lose. So the Dolphins really didn't play anybody of top caliber. Their schedule. They're going to the Patriots, the Chiefs. The Eagles, the Patriots, the Chiefs, and then they got the Cowboys, Ravens, and the Bills in the season out. Which their schedule does not get any easier. Now, aside that, the running game was pretty much done. There was no running game at all. Do I think A-Chain makes a difference? No, I don't think A-Chain makes a difference. The holes were clogged. Guys were in the backfield. You saw, Hassan Reddick with the 2 tackle for losses begin pretty much in the first half. But our defense played well. Bradbury once again, he was supposed to have safety help, but what can you do? You're playing against Tyreek Hill, and yes, I would like him to be in better position, squeeze a little bit more, stay over top of the guy. If he has that speed, we see Tyreek Hill on film. Stay over top him. We don't play any type of trail technique. We play a lot of sinking too. Sometimes we play quarters, but we're not a true man team. We're playing man techniques. So I would like him to stay over top and squeeze and use his physicality over Tyreek Hill rather than not getting a hand up or feeling on his hip going up the sideline. So that's something you go to the film room and help out, but that Sydney help with Edmonds has to be there. Edmonds led our team in tackles, but Edmonds, I personally felt, was out of position a lot. I think he hesitated a lot, but there are a lot of good things that he did do that I think helped our team. So it's a plus or minus. You have a guy in, first-year guy in a situation where he's facing the Miami Dolphins, you don't expect to be perfect. So there's pluses and minuses probably on his film review, but I thought that Edmonds should have just been deep as the deepest on that, especially at the halftime. Don't let him get deeper than you. If that's your help, don't let him get deeper than you. Really good passing concepts by Mike McDaniel. I thought we managed them very, very well. So overall, I feel that we executed well. We did what we were supposed to do. We were in position. Our defensive line rotation once again was effective. We had 4 sacks, and it was just easy picking. Sweat once again getting off the edge. It's kind of like whose day is it this day? 8 tackles for loss. That's a tribute to stopping the run. They had 45 yards rushing. I mean, overall they didn't have over 300 yards total, and that's something to say to our defense and Sean Desai, who's putting guys in position. Once again, big play slay, a veteran move. How he's guarding his man, looking back. Just not playing through the man. The receiver looks back, understanding the ball may very well be in the air, and then drifting off his guy, making a play. Veteran play. We expect to see him move to extend his career, move more to the slot. But man, really, really good defense showing. Can't say anything. The team was shook. A couple things I didn't notice. I did not like the call, the no call on Bradbury. You saw what happened to us in that situation. We got the no call. But this is a game, we had no penalties this game. We're against, and I have to check this, we're against the Jets. If we turn the ball over, one thing that can mitigate turn the ball over is execution. When you talk about, hey, as a coach, you go back to the locker room and say, hey, look, we had no penalties, right? That's one way to say, hey, look, you can win the game, right? When you have no penalties. And then I'm going to go look and see where were we at with, we had 5 for 46 in turning the ball over against, 4 times. Yeah, 4 times against the Jets. You can't have that many penalties, that many turnovers. But no penalties against the Miami Dolphins is a huge win for us. When you talk about just execution, making sure that you're not jumping off sides, making sure you're staying disciplined. Now we should have had the face mask call, and we got punished for that. But time of possession, that long drive, 36 for 43, and that's the first thing. Execution went well. We weren't penalized. But we actually had that one penalty on us. The next thing is Jason Kelsey. Man, this guy has so much heart. You talk about a guy who's sacrificing himself in the bottom of that pile every single time. Like, I'm sure his wife is looking like, I hope this is the last year. Just win the Super Bowl this year so you can retire. But the tush push is mainly because of those hog mollies up front, and then Jason Kelsey, a human sacrifice every time he jumps down. Tyreek Hill was fast. I think we all know that. Tyreek Hill is super fast. But I also liked Eli Ricks coming in, and he was kind of playing man coverage toward. And I'm not saying he wasn't holding a little bit handsy, but for a rookie to come in, play at LSU, transfer from LSU to Alabama, I'm pretty sure he learned some discipline there, being patient, waiting for his turn. We have some guys, Kilo Ringo, what's his name? Ringo, I forgot what his name is, his first name, Ringo, that I think can come in. But it's good seeing Eli Ricks. He's a cover guy, and this is what he's known for, come in and stopping them, and stopping Tyreek Hill in the last couple of plays. The schedule doesn't get easy for us. This is a big win as we start our midseason push. Next we have the Commanders, right? We go to Washington. Then we play the Cowboys, right? Then we got the Chiefs and the Bills, the 49ers, and the Cowboys again. And then the Seahawks. So we'll have, once again, I told you, we have the hardest schedule in football, but we have Commanders, right? Which, at Washington, we struggled with them the past couple of years. The Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, 49ers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with winning records after this game. It's definitely going to be a huge stretch for us. It's going to be, a time where we have to kind of, our bye weeks in between the Cowboys and the Chiefs, right? And I'm sure we have that game marked on our calendar. But it's going to be a huge, who are we coming out of this? I expect us to be higher in the power rankings. Continue to get better. I love the way the defense is going. Stay healthy, right? Stay healthy. If we can stay healthy throughout the midseason push, come towards the end of the season, getting better at the things that we do. Right? It's not the fact that we reached our cap, right? But we know what our standard is. The standard when we were up 17-10 going towards halftime and they were booing, right? That's the standard. And I think that's the standard we have to hold ourselves, but not burn ourselves out when it comes to playoff time and not beat ourselves up. So longevity for this midseason push, win the games, execute, play at a high level. But this is a good win for us, just putting the league on notice again, walking with that kind of standard that we currently have of ourselves. The Eagles have themselves. I'm not playing, so I'm not gonna say of ourselves, but big win. Good execution. The idea is to build on this. Keep on building on it. So, finished up the Eagles. Let's talk about this. Lamar Jackson. How about the Ravens and the Detroit Lions game? Probably the next biggest game that I think everyone was kind of looking into. Yeah, some of the best two 5-1 teams facing each other. For you all fools that really thought Detroit was good, not 5-1 teams since Baltimore's 4-2, but Detroit is not. I'm gonna say they're not good, but we crowned them way too early. We crowned Detroit way too early, and I just want to take a look at their strength. Look at their schedule. They beat the Chiefs, and we thought, hey, look, they're the greatest. They played the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Buccaneers. These are four teams that I personally feel are trash. And if you look at these four teams, but I look at the record, I think they all have losing records except maybe the Falcons. The Falcons are 4-3. But the Buccaneers are, let's see what their record is. Buccaneers are 3-3. The Panthers, we know that I'm not going to look. I don't think they won a game yet. The Panthers are abysmal. They haven't won a game. The Packers are I don't know the records off the top of my head. 2-4, and then you have the Falcons, who I think just got over 500 today with the win over Tampa, 4-3. The Lions really haven't played anybody that really has a true identity of being a stellar team. Now their schedule doesn't get harder, right? They play the Raiders, the Chargers, the Bears, the Packers, the Saints. Like they might have the easiest, the toughest team on their schedule right now that I'm seeing. I hate to say this, is the Cowboys. Right, that's the toughest team on their schedule. The Chargers don't know who they are because Herbert, I'll say that for another video, but they come into play Baltimore. People think that it's going to be a better game. Baltimore just ran in and sideswiped them. I'm talking mop the floor with them. Lamar Jackson was highly efficient. And I don't think that it's Lamar Jackson is looking to pass more instead of run. Lamar Jackson has always been looking to pass. He just has better options and better route combinations he can look to. He hasn't had that before. The running game, once again, solid. Gus, and Justice. I like to see running backs outside the quarterback get 100 yards, right? So everything your quarterback does is added plus. Lamar was 9 for 36, averaged 4 yards a carry, had a touchdown. He counted for 4 touchdowns. He was 21 for 27, 357, 155.8 quarterback rating, and 3 touchdowns. Spread the ball out. No receiver had over 100 yards, right? So no receiver had over 100 yards, and he threw it to nine different receivers. Right, this is what you want to see, and it could, like I said, it could be anybody's day. Mark Andrews got in the end zone twice. Nelly got in there once. He had 1 catch. But I like the fact that, establishing things with Rashad Bateman getting open, Odell Beckham getting in the mix. He had 5 receptions. Believe it or not, Odell Beckham led the team in targets. 5 receptions, off 7 targets for 49. It's good to see him kind of get his legs underneath him as well when he kind of almost somewhat semi-reversed field. But you can see where Odell Beckham's gonna be beneficial is finding spots in the zone, being efficient, setting players up. This is what you want to see out of Odell Beckham. But great performance. Now, do I think this is the best defense that's going to go out there and stop the run? No. But it's good to see. It's good to see them. The passing game for Baltimore start to evolve. Start to develop, start being a lot more efficient in what they're doing. Great game for them. Like I said, they're another team. Their schedule doesn't get easy, but man, Roquan Smith and Patrick McQueen, man, we always talk about front fours, but when you have 2 linebackers that can play sideline to sideline, that can cover, that are just smart, they know the game, and I think Roquan Smith. I mean, you have Odafe Owe came back. Justin Matabuki, you have guys, and Jadeveon Clowney's playing solid. I mean, you have literally the linebackers are just stout, and you have a front 4 that's legit as well too. That can do what they can. Now, I don't think they can necessarily. They're great at stopping the run, but the pass rush, stopping the run when they need to stop the run. I lied. They're good at stopping the run, and those linebackers are top tier, and you have a good back end a smart back end of secondary. This team is really fit to be. I personally, I've been saying this for the past 3 years. This is the best team in football. Over the past 3 years, what have they battled? They battled injuries. Lamar Jackson has not played towards the end of the season, and they talked about it quite a bit. It's preserving Lamar Jackson for the end of the season. Can we keep him healthy for the end of the season? That's the ultimate goal, as opposed to, hey, he's hurt or he's injured. So, yes, let's design Lamar Jackson runs, allow him to create on his own, protect him in the pocket. If you feel like he's going up against a team that has a serious pass rush, let's work the short game, get the ball out quick to buy time. But once again, I thought it was great for them to kind of showcase who they are on both sides of the ball. I know they weren't happy about that touchdown in the 4th quarter, but on the other side, Amon-Ra Brown, once again, top receiver. Great at finding spot. He's like mini Anquan Bolden to me. But Jameson Williams, he's got to find himself 6 targets. Zero receptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown's probably not too mad. I mean, he had 19 targets in a game. You have 19 targets and 13 receptions, and then you're happy. You're not going to win a game passing the ball 53 times with Jared Goff. It's just not going to happen. He had 68% quarterback ratings. QBR was 14, sacked 5 times, 1 interception. So I think they had to figure out this different recipe. But like I said, the Lions' schedule isn't hard. They have the Raiders next, the Chargers next, the Bears, Packers, Saints, Bears, Broncos, Vikings. They on their schedule they only have one team with a winning record, and that's the Cowboys. So the sky's the limit for them. For Baltimore, it doesn't get necessarily easier. It's gonna be a lot of tough division games. You got Seattle, you got Cardinals to Seattle, then you got the Browns, Bengals, Chargers, Rams, and then the 49ers on your schedule as well too, which I think that'll be a good game to see how do the 49ers play against pretty much a West AFC team like the Eagles. So, and you got the Steelers, which you lost to towards the end of the season. It's going to be. This is a season where we want to see Lamar Jackson finish out playing top new offense, top football towards the end of the season in the playoffs, right? When you talk about a team that I think has dominated consistently the past couple of years, with guys going out, it's been the Ravens, but Lamar Jackson has been the main person that has not allowed them to really take it to the next level in the playoffs. And I would love to see playoff Lamar. Once again, I told you guys, I have the Ravens and I have the Eagles in the Super Bowl. This is who I have, and I think that this is what we're going to see if these both two teams stay healthy. So we'll see. Yeah, good game, good showing by the Ravens. I thought they came in and played well. A couple of things I'm just going to touch on. Not going to talk too much about them. I want to talk about the Bills and the Patriots. I want to talk about. We'll briefly cover the Giants. We'll briefly talk about the Steelers. And these are things I'm just going to kind of touch them all. Remember baseball back then, they were like, hey, touch them all. And I am going to talk about your boy, which you guys probably don't want me to talk about because you guys love him so much. And Denver got a win. Look at that. Denver got a win. Denver is no longer one. They're 1-5. They're 2-8. I'm telling you guys, look, I think Denver's a sleeper. I'm telling you guys may think I'm crazy about this, but I think Denver is a sleeper. They got the Chiefs. As soon as I say that, I look in the schedule. They have the Chiefs next. But I do think that they played the Chiefs tough. I can listen. I'm calling it next week. Next week, in Denver. In Denver, Kareem Jackson got ejected for a second time. Russell Wilson, and the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs. All right, without Taylor Swift and they're going to beat the Chiefs. I'm putting my stamp on it. All right, but no, I do want to cover the Bills. I've been on Josh Allen hard for the past couple of years, and I've been telling you guys this. Josh Allen's really nothing to be wowed about. I think he's pretty pedestrian at best. I think that most people marvel at his size. He's 6'5", 240. He can run, put his shoulder down, but he can't pass the ball. When you have arguably the best receiver in football, and a good number two, I think he has some good running backs, and teams aren't intimidated by you dropping back and passing. It's a problem, And this is outside of I think Belichick doesn't necessarily have his number, and they always play them tough, but you expect more out of Josh Allen. And this whole season he's been really inconsistent. And Stephon Diggs was right. Stephon Diggs has every legitimate reason to be upset with Josh Allen because he's been playing very, very basic over the past couple of years. Now on the other side, Mac Jones. And I will say this: that defense is not who it used to be. That defense is not who it used to be. That defense used to be, daunting to teams, and it's not anymore. It's not anymore with White out. That defense is kind of still finding itself. On the Patriots side, like I said, it doesn't get easier for them. But you like to see Mac Jones have a highly efficient day: 25 for 30, 2 touchdowns, 272 in the ground, through the air, only sacked once, and then 126.7 quarterback rating. The running game was okay. It wasn't something they heavily relied on, but it did kind of set the pace of the game. Um, but essentially, he hits. I'm looking right now, 5 to 10 different receivers. You want to see that on Mac Jones. You want to see him. This may be a game that boosts his confidence. And the Alabama quarterbacks, had a day. Then what do? You face next week. You face the Dolphins. So giving Belichick his 300 career win, great. Right? I think Don Shula has 354. I think I saw the stat tonight in the Eagles game. But you want to see you want to see Mac Johnson playing good football. And if he plays good football, you get to say, okay, what, or not playing good football, but you want to see Mac Johnson be the guy who he's supposed to be, and that's still up in the air as far as who he's supposed to be. So we'll see. But good one for the Patriots. Moving on to the Commanders game, right? I just want to say big shout out to Tyrod Taylor 757. If you know, I went to Norfolk State, so I'm always rooting for the 757 guys. But Tyrod Taylor comes in, they go and beat Washington. Washington's now 3-4. They're one game behind Washington in the NFC East. Sam Howell once again was very underwhelming. I don't know why Washington fans thought that Sam Howell was going to be good. But what did the Giants do? The Giants stopped the running game. 19 for 76 on the ground, only one touchdown. Their main rusher was Brian Robinson. And he was 8 for 23 and one touchdown. This Chris Rodriguez guy, I'm not sure why they're kind of bringing him in the mix, but actually, yeah, okay, I know who he is, yeah. But they brought him in the mix, and they're helping with the running game. I'm not sure, why Antonio Gibson's not just good enough, but I guess having three running backs, you have three running backs. But 22 for 42, 249, sacked 6 times, QBR of 20.3, and a quarterback rating of 60.5. He did spread the ball out well, but I think that we overshot. We have to understand. Andy Reid's offense is excellent, and we think that it's Eric Bieniemy. It's not. I'm telling you straight up. I'm telling you, Andy Reid is a guru, and we're starting to see that, right? When you think about passing at the next level, passing at all levels of football, Andy Reid as a play caller experiences that. He excels at that. That is not something that I felt that Eric Bieniemy does. You can have the right playbook, the best playbook in the world, and those plays are only going to get you so far. But knowing when to call them, tendencies, I understand the tendencies of your opponent, of your players, of the other players, of the coaches, the mind, that goes a long way. And what we're seeing is you can't just leave the ball in Sam Howell's hand and expect him to make lemonades out of make lemonades. Like lemonade out of lemons. Because right now you're giving him lemons, and he's not having anything in return. But Saquon Barkley, we got a heavy dose of him. Once again, he's injured, but he did have over 100 all-purpose yards on the ground. Tyrod Taylor, 757 guy, Virginia Tech, came in and dominated. That Giants defense was solid. I thought Giants defense was solid. They got to the quarterback, and I was really impressed with them on the back end, especially Deonte Banks. I thought he did a good job on Terry McLaurin when he was on him. But overall, good win for the Giants. So, NFC East matchup. Of course, I always got to talk about them. I love those. But, the Steelers. We talk about the Steelers. Big win for the Steelers, 4-2 in the I forgot NFC. AFC. What is it, AFC? AFC East. What is it? AFC East. Yeah, AFC East. Whatever the term their conference is, whatever. But Pickett comes back, 17 for 25, no touchdowns, but Deontay Johnson. Right, and we talk about just being able to spread the ball out. Now, this is the Rams. I will say that it is the Rams, right? And we know the Rams are good for their offense. We see Puka really taking a lot of plays from Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp being a decoy this year. But I would say last 2 games. But man, Deontay Johnson creates a whole new weaponry for this offense. And if this game is not a fluke and they can build on it, then great. I love the heavy dose of continuing to run the ball. But I like the defense. The defense is starting to play together as a unit. They're starting to get stops in multiple games, and the Steelers look good. I think the Steelers look good. I think the Steelers, they're on a 2-game winning streak. 2-game winning streak. But you got a tough schedule. You got the Jaguars, Titans coming up. 2 games that could be up in the air that you can easily lose. But I like the Jaguars defense. This would be a true test. And the Titans game is a game they should win. So the idea for the Steelers and Mike Tomlin is to win, right? And win. We don't care how you win, right? Because your expectation of the Steelers is not to win a Super Bowl. Your expectation of the Steelers is to get to the playoffs and win one game. If you get to the playoffs and you win one game, then that is that's a win for you. So this is what you want to see out of the Steelers: consistency of them winning games, finding new ways to win games until they really find their identity. Because I think the Steelers still don't have an identity just yet. But good one for Pittsburgh. Good one for Mikey T out there, Mikey T. Now, I'm not going to talk about the Broncos. I'm going to talk about. Last thing I want to cover and talk about is the Chargers and the Chiefs game. This is less of. There's two things I want to talk about. You guys may not like it, all right? Justin Herbert. I told you guys last year. You guys, I know some of you guys who wanted to marry Justin Herbert. You guys slam me in the comment section. Oh, Justin Herbert's that guy. I hope I can find the ads to add these people. Oh, look at him. He's doing what nobody else is doing in the first 3 games of the season. Oh, blah blah, this that. When they lost last week to Dallas, and he threw that pick, right? I didn't come on here and say anything. When they lost to and when he got bailed out in Las Vegas, I didn't say anything. But this guy, you guys are way off. You guys are way off this guy. Oh my gosh, he's 6'6". What was it? Oh my gosh, he's 6'6", 240. Oh my gosh, Justin Herbert's the man. What excuse do you have now? He has Eckler back. Keenan Allen's playing. He's missed Keenan Allen so many times. And you guys tried to bash me last week. Oh, he has a strong arm. He doesn't make the plays when he needs to make the plays. Now, I'm not saying he can't ever make the plays, but he's not doing it. The last 2 games in prime time, right? 22 for 37, 227, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a loss. A pick at the end of the game. Right? Then today, when I needed Justin Herbert, and I wanted Herbert to win the most against the Chiefs, what does he do? 17 for 30, 259, 1 touchdown, sacked 5 times, and 2 picks. He did absolutely nothing. And you guys going to sit here and you guys are like, oh, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is not a good passer. And I say that because I do think that it's partially because his mind, he hasn't had good coaching. But I think coaching needs to change direction of, hey, look, sometimes throw your check down. But he's just missing guys. He missed guys on Monday night against the Dallas. Keenan Allen missed him outright. Keenan Allen's playing good football right now, and he's wasting years of Keenan Allen's life. Keenan Allen should have 3 touchdowns in the past 2 games. But Keenan Allen is, he's just missing him. But look, this is who you guys love, and looking at the Chargers' schedule, who they have next. The Chargers have, these are games they should win. The Bears, the Jets, the Lions, the Packers, right? These are games they should win. Games the Chargers should win. All right, and no excuse, because the schedule's going to get tough. You got the Ravens, you got the Bills. Well, you got the Bills and the Chiefs again. It's not a tough schedule. You have two games against winning opponents in the past couple of, and that's towards the end of the season, right? They only have 2 teams with a winning opponent, a winning record. So, other thing I want to talk about is the Chiefs. The Chiefs are easily becoming the most unlikable team in America. I don't think it's because of Taylor Swift. I think it's because of the calls. But Taylor Swift is adding fuel to the fire. But I'm going to say this. Don't talk about Taylor Swift. Okay. How can I say this? Nobody has any right to talk about Taylor Swift and the coverage she's getting from the NFL. Because a couple of months ago, you guys were on the Chiefs so bad because you wanted them to beat the Eagles. This is what you guys got. You all deserve this. This is your fault. So when you guys, it wasn't a holding call? No. I want them to show Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes' wife in the booth and Jackson Mahomes in the booth every time something happens. I want them to see that. I want Taylor Swift to go to every game because you guys asked for this. You guys wanted this. And I told you guys that holding call was something you guys were creating. Oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes, you guys asked for this. Now you guys gotta sit there and suck it up every time I saw Taylor Swift, high-fiving Kelsey, whoever it is. Because when the Eagles play the Chiefs again, we're setting a balance. We're setting a balance. All right? We're taking all that, we're wiping it out. Wiping it out. And I need to know, do we play in Kansas City? I want us to play in Kansas City. You want to know why I want us to play in Kansas City? We're playing in Kansas City. I want Donna Kelsey. I want Jackson Mahomes. I don't know what Patrick Mahomes' wife is. I want Taylor Swift at the game. When we stop and go into Arrowhead and redeem ourselves, we rectify things, we set the balance. Now, you guys may think I'm crazy, but we are going to dig a hole deep in the middle of Arrowhead and bury the Chiefs in there, because on a surface that we played it, now it's going to be a little bit cold when we play them. It's going to be November, not too cold, but it's going to be cold, right? But it's going to be fair enough. We're Philadelphia, we're playing tough, you know. Kansas City cold is cold. Midwest cold is cold. But when we play there, it's going to be all out. And I don't want to hear anything about us being a fluke, right? So just know we're coming to set the balance. The Eagles are setting the balance. If the Eagles aren't the number 2 best team in the power rankings right now, then you already know what's happening. Because you cannot put the Chiefs over the Eagles. You can't put the 49ers over the Eagles. Even though you guys want to. The 49ers, by the way, are losing tomorrow night to the Minnesota Vikings. They're losing. I guarantee it. Or tonight. When I put this video out, you guys, it'll be tonight. They're losing to the Minnesota Vikings tonight. I'm putting a stamp on it. Kirk Cousins is bringing one home. Turn the camera off. But hey, look, thank you guys for tuning in to check me. Listen, I'm going to do some breakdowns throughout the whole week after I get the film. But I just want to kind of rattle out my thoughts of some things I saw this week. But from the NFL standpoint, but by the way, college standpoint, I do want to talk specifically about Alabama. Man, they just don't want to put Alabama in higher, right? And I get it, right? And if you look at the rankings, you really can't put Alabama over certain teams, right? Like you don't rank Alabama over Texas, right? Because they lost to Texas, right? You can't do that. But if I go, let me pull up the standings here. Let me pull this up here. If I pull up the rankings and look at the coaches poll, which really doesn't necessarily mean anything right now, the college football playoff is the biggest thing. But if I'm looking at the coaches poll, is a 6-1 Oregon in the Pac-12 better than Alabama? Right? That's the question you got to ask. Now, you got Washington, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, Alabama. And then you got Penn State, the top 10. Penn State, here's the thing. You already know these rankings are off when you only have 2 teams in the SEC in the top 10. Because the 6-1 Ole Miss team is better than the 7-0 Washington. It's better than the 7-0 Oklahoma. You got LSU creeping up at 15. You got Ole Miss at 12. And I'm looking at it right now. It's really only Missouri at 7-1, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 at teams in the top 25 poll. The top 15, you have 5 teams as well too for the SEC. Tennessee's 5 and 2, so they're 21. USC once again lost. James Madison hasn't played a soul. I don't know why I don't know why JMU's even ranked. It was customary, but they beat Virginia, Troy, Utah State, South. They had their next game is Marshall. They play ODU. Like they don't play anybody, and let's just be honest. Like JMU's not a good football team. Well, they're a good football team, but it's nothing compared to the top teams. Georgia, they had an open week. They had a bye this week. I think Alabama's bye is actually Alabama's bye is next week. They don't have a game. Texas, I'm surprised they went up in the polls once and they struggled to beat Houston. And then Quinn Ewers is out. The question now is, are we going to see Archie Manning early? Are we going to see Archie Manning? And I don't think that they're going to bring him. I think the other guy that they have is that black guy that played. Was it Archie Manning Jr.? Is that his name? No, what's his name? What's Manning quarterback? I should know this, mainly because Arch Manning, not Archie Manning. Arch Manning. Does he play? Um, the Malik Murphy finished the game out. This is the last thing you want to see with Texas. You just want Malik to come in and hold the weight until Quinn gets back. Steve Carson did not really extend injury. Rumors say it was missed extended amount of time. They say he might miss quite a bit of time. Even without considering rumors, the fact that Ewers was in a sling yesterday after leaving the game indicates at least a certain. It's the second time he's gotten injured. You know, but they got two quarterbacks behind them that are capable. We might hear the cries. Here's the thing: if Murphy comes, I don't want to make this about Texas, but if Murphy comes and he's not doing well, you got an immediate quarterback controversy. Now, I don't think that from looking at Malik Murphy, and I'm just going to kind of do a quick look at his numbers, but yeah, I don't know. You got a redshirt freshman versus a true freshman, and you know who the crowd wants. But let's take a look at Texas's schedule to see if, they already have their bye weeks. So they're playing every game. I know. So that you got it's BYU, and you should be confident, but you got Kansas State, and then the schedule's not tough. You're in the Big 12. Let's just put it like that. But BYU at home, you should feel confident that you can win that game. BYU really hasn't beat anybody this year of much caliber. They beat They beat Arkansas 38-31. Whenever you beat SEC school, it goes a long way. They lost to TCU, lost to Kansas. Kansas played Oklahoma tough. I don't know. Big 12, BYU's in the Big 12, and they've been in the Big 12 for a reason. They came to play good ball. Up in the conference for them. So you're going to see, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Texas and see if it's a big factor. You expect the guys to rally around them and also that defense to kind of step up and make plays, but that's going to tell a lot of how strong Texas may stay in the polls. I said I'm surprised they went up one. The quarterback went down, and they in a nail biter with Houston. Just completely surprised by that. But you got Oregon. Oregon, who I'm not sure why went up in the poll. I don't know why Oregon's ranked higher than Alabama. Like, is it because their loss came against Washington, a top team? So did Alabama's. I don't get where the voters are even saying, or whoever it is saying, oh, they should put them on the AP poll. But they got Utah next. They got USC. They got Oregon State. They're going to lose one of these games outside of the Pac-12 championship game if they get there. Right now, they're not even in the Pac-12 championship game. Right now, if the Pac-12 championship game were to happen right now, it would be a repeat of Washington and USC. Because USC's only loss came to Notre Dame, who was not in conference, and then lost to Utah. Now, USC's schedule. USC's not going to win off the next 4 games. You got California, Washington, Oregon, and UCLA. The Pac-12 is going to beat up on each other towards the end of the season, and they might have one team that's going to make it. Right now, they don't have a team that's in the top 4. Florida State, I think that was a strong win against Duke, but the only Florida State, I don't think they're good, and I don't think Florida State's good, and I think that they're going to lose one of these games, whether it's Miami, Florida, Pitt, Wake Forest. I think they're going to lose a Miami or Florida game. I just don't think that they're. I just don't think that they're. It might be that Florida game. I just don't think that Florida State is real, and it used to mean something going through the Pac-12. The ACC, but right now it doesn't mean much, especially with Clemson not having the recruits that they need. Alabama has a tough schedule too. Alabama could easily lose to, you got LSU next week. LSU is going to be a tough one. Kentucky, Chattanooga, and then Auburn. All right, so you got two big games that Alabama, because they have an open week next, not next week, but the week after. They have LSU and Auburn. You're playing LSU, and fortunately it's at home. But LSU's a tough team. They play tough football. Last year they made it known last year as well too. So, um, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Alabama. But man, just to put out Oregon over Alabama is wild. Washington's not going to. You'll see. I'm not just saying these things, guys. Like, I'm not saying these things out of malice, out of hate, out of anger. I'm just saying these things because it's true, right? This is true. Pac-12 is going to beat up on each other. The Big Ten is going to beat up each other, and who's going to stand strong are the two top teams in the SEC we see every year. All right, this is more than likely it's going to be a Alabama, Georgia, right? Championship. Now it's LSU. This LSU. Now here's a scenario we haven't thought of for Alabama. Say you, excuse me. Say you lose to LSU. Well, then LSU loses a game. This is This is the one. If there's any most important game of Alabama's season, it's this game right now, because Alabama has to beat LSU to be into that. They'll pretty much be in the SEC championship game. If they do, they play LSU the SEC championship game, and they essentially face Georgia. I think that Georgia may lose one. You got Missouri, you got Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, right? So you may have two one-loss teams against each other in the SEC championship game, right? So then it's like, okay, the SEC may be up on each other, but overall, this is the rankings. This is what it is. We'll see what happens in the college football playoff next week when they start releasing the rankings. But I expect a wild finish, a good college football season. For what we have and the matchups that we have and the teams that we see playing against each other. But man, it's going to be interesting. So that's my football roundup. That's the end of Check Me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I pretty much talked for a long time today. If you guys tune in, I appreciate you. But hey, look, subscribe. If you have questions, you want to ask about anything, definitely comment and respond below. All right, y'all. I'm out.